Hello guys, this is another OptiCode. It's been a long since I did this ones, and I thought I should do another one to warm up a bit with some 3D code because it's been a long. And previously I did a little test with packed sprites, and the test was about performance of a very badly packed sprite, and also of a sprite that is packed that is 100%. It's very close to the unpacked version, the packed and the unpacked. Like there is no game to see if the unpacking would waste much time. And because the unpacking is simple, it basically didn't. But it was this version. In order to do that, now you're not gonna see much difference in performance. You're gonna see something on Phoenix, but this is something I tested on the real 3D. And now this is not the important thing, it's just I wanna show you that I have to remove the vsync first of all. Now I remove the vsync. Now this means I cycle through all this version. This version is the unpack, so I have some pure noise texture, which doesn't pack well, obviously. And I get this frame rate, 191, 190. This is the packed version. I get slight loss, but because when this is packed, it's about the same size and maybe a bit more, like 101%, because this thing, it doesn't have this sprite continuous pixels, like the same pixel repeating 10 times or transparent pixel. It can hardly be packed. You give a pack command that say take the next 64 pixel and just display them, and there is no gain. You even wasted 1 byte per scan line, 1 byte extra. So it's 64 bytes more. And that's at least because we might have some padding too. Anyway, and when I press here and I press a button, now we dropped a bit because this is the badly packed version. This is a version where every pixel, instead of 1 byte, takes 2 bytes because I intentionally made the pack command to say the next pixel is of that type. It's repeated. It's a series of pixels, but there is only one pixel. So every other pixel I repeat the command and then give the data to. And also, and I would assume the bad version to go half of the good one. If I zoom out those sprites far away so the render it doesn't matter, on 3DO at least, you'll see that I'm hitting half speed. And the thing is, we used to use some tools to convert. Now, I think the best tool to convert is 3it. And you can take a PNG and pack it, and it's gonna do things automatically, or you can put various options. You can set up certain CCB values, you can do more. There might be an option to pack, there is an option to use an external palette, to use the bit depth you want, if it's palletized or not, if it's packed. And I guess the thing in parentheses is the default. Packed is false by default. So if I was to say to sell And are you passing the file later? I have forgotten. Back PNG one cell something. And it even says back PNG uncoded and unpacked 16-bit 131 180. Now if I am to packed am I passing the options here? Isn't equals true. And we're making a packed version. And you see the packed is, it didn't pack very well, but it's smaller. This is the unpacked, this is the packed. And yeah, I guess I have to use something with more wrong. Because this one, it seems to have repeating pixels, but maybe they're not really repeating. Maybe the colors are very close. But anyways, the thing is, one way would be to do that and you get some packed data and you don't, which is fine. For most of the stuff you want, it's fine. But it's very possible to generate your own packed stuff. So you can use also on the 3D API, you can use function for cell to set up your cell, create cell and so on. But if you start learn the data structures, even here, if you start understand what these are and play with them, you will be able to have more flexibility. And I had an idea. That's how I did the pack test. I didn't just got this noise texture and created the pack sprite with a tool. I procedurally generated some random data and where do I do that? Sprite BMP. Yeah, I'm just filling this array with pixels 0 to 255. In order to not use the palette, I use the 8-bit row because it's gonna be random. It's usually you don't have good bit depth on the channels with this, so things look bad, but I just wanted to make a noise, but it didn't matter. And then I read that data later, generate pack data, generate bundle pack data. I read them and I follow the logic a bit of the pack data and how you start and how in the beginning of every line you have to write, if you are in 8-bit or 16-bit mode, you have to write 2 bytes, 16 bits, of the length of this line. If you know that the way you are packing it is gonna be a certain length, you can pass it. The length in words, the length in every word is 32 bits, 4 bytes. And you might have to do some padding in the total. And I think this includes also, this is like a header for the line, let's say. And then you have packets where there is a byte that tells you. I have explained that in a video. What kind of packing, the following data, is it a series of pixels? Is it the same pixel that I have to repeat many times? There is a 2-bit specifier, which is 2 bits for a combination. Is it a transparent pixel that repeats? Is it another pixel that repeats? With a transparent, no pixel data is formed. You can have a byte, 1 byte to say the next 30 pixels are transparent. if you have this pack repeat, you have a byte that says the next 20 pixels are one color, the same color, and the data I will give you later is the one color. But I'm using this one for my where I'm like the next 64 pixels are a series of data. So I'm wasting one byte and then 64. I'm giving them as a raw data. I don't even pack them, and it's not easy to pack. And in the badly packed data, I have freedom with that. I can say no, even if I have 64 pixel, I give one pixel, 1 byte, one pixel, 2 bytes. That header that says, okay, the following 1 pixel is gonna be the data I will give you. And I could use pack repeat, I could use pack literal, and the pack repeat could be 1 pixel. 1 pixel, I mean, in the size I'm passing. So, for example, here, those are defines I get for from the 3DO API. They happen to match those. Shift right 6, and then you follow the 6 bits, and sprite width happens to be, I just made, to make it simple, I just make a 64 by 64 -1, so that I say the next, so I'm writing a byte here in the destination, and then I'm looping through the data in the source on the unpacked, and I just pass them. So I'm giving the same raw data, and there is an extra 1 byte that says, and I see now I put a 0 in the destination then, because I think it's the end of line, and I might have to count before that the width in words. And here I'm doing it different. I'm saying pack literal. Okay, it's what it's follow pixel, but there is nothing here. It's really an, oh god, an or 0. I pressed insert, and 0 means 1 pixel. The following 1 pixel, and then the following 1 pixel follows, and that loops. I waste 2 bytes per pixel. For a pixel that could be 1 byte as raw data, as unpacked data. So that was a deliberately bad packed data to see and show you that you can do everything. You can pack the way you want, but my packer function in experiments 3DO, I have a cell packer, for example, that will try. You can give it unpacked BMP and will do various searches and try to find the pixel repetitions and try to do some optimal work. I don't know if it's perfect. I might have noticed something that would create a badly packed. Maybe not, maybe I corrected it. But I'm not doing the bad version. I'm trying to do the best possible packing I can. And I guess 3IT also will do the good packing. So this is just a deliberate bad packing, and that's here is what I want to do. Okay, maybe I should go to what I want to do. So if you get familiar with that stuff, instead of always using the tools, you could get deeper and experiment, do your own experimentation, even with the cell flags and all that stuff. You can think of some clever tricks you can do by, I think I don't need to say, instead of just loading some cells, you can create the procedural generate your own cells, and you can do all that kind of stuff. And now I'm planning to do something. And that's something I need to think how to. I'm planning to do an experiment I wanted for a long time to do. I was putting in my mind, if I manipulate the packed data in real time, which is not easy because they might be very arbitrary, what kinds of effects could I do? And I thought an effect where I could, on the beginning of the bitmap, I can insert some extra data. Yeah, you will see. Maybe I'll make it with. It might not be easy. I could offset every pixel. Yeah, it's hard to explain. I have some in my mind. I can offset I could offset in a sine wave. I can do some sprite that also does sine wave without doing it in harder ways, like splitting a bitmap in several bitmap. Also, this is also a bit hard way. This is, you can do it in different ways. Maybe my way is more complicated. It needs you to create less cells. And I need to think which cell I should get now. Maybe I can get the Draculin. I just need to see the type. I don't have exactly a viewer. I have test 0. I have to see what things I have on. So, I have a Draculin that is 32. And there is this and the 64. I'm gonna call the 16 from my experience. I'm gonna copy it there. I'm gonna copy the 64. Even a gecko would be good. It seems bigger. No, the gecko is big. I really don't know. And unfortunately, I don't have 16 string 64. If I want to do that, I have to edit the code. Draculin 16. I do have to do it like this. Run anything, even 4DO. And I'm just loading in display side data. So this is 8 bits per pixel. Uncoded. This is 8 bits per pixel, but it's raw, no palette. But except from some yellowing in the eyes, it looks okay. So maybe that's what 128 by 1. Okay, it could be harder. I want something that is 64. Maybe the 64 is 64. So I don't have a viewer that I can look through a director. I could do one. Oh yes, it's a small version. This is perfect. It would be easier for me for a reason. it's not packed, but in my engine I can load and pack, but I don't need to pack it. I'll show you. I'll generate, instead of using my automated program, I'm gonna do something else. It's easier with 64, but okay, I could do it with 128. The thing with packing is that this 6-bit following value, the maximum number you can do is 64 pixels. But no, you can pack any kind of bitmap, okay? You can pack a bitmap that is 256 pixels in width. But you have to have 4 pieces of it. So you have to... And generally the packed data are gonna be, they come with a lot of packets. You might say the next 3 pixels are that, the next 7 pixels are one color, the next 10 pixels are transparent. So, yeah, I mean, if it's 128, I have to break it into 2 packets at least, because we're gonna make a third packet for the idea I have. And to simplify things, I'm gonna do the same thing I did with the noise, because this is also uncoded. This is exactly as the noise. Now I see there is a red. It might not matter. I could make it transparent, that one. But I'm gonna pack it. I'm not gonna pack it well. I'm not gonna pack it. I'm gonna give it as a raw data. I'm gonna do what I did with the noise, even if some colors might be repeated. So I'm gonna do a bad work with that so that I show you what I want to do. And Draculin 64 is the one we are going to use. And I'm going to go to my experiment studio now. And I'm gonna make this into a new. Should it be packed effects? Should it be sprite tests? I'm gonna make it into packed effects. I have made more complicated packed effects, like the radial sprites. But that's a different thing than what I want to do. The radial sprites, you look at an image. Yeah, I'm gonna make it a bit faster so that it loads faster. That radial is more complicated in a way, because the image you're gonna see is consisting of several images with a lot of transparent bits and one on top of the other. So I had this one and this one. And you might see the black pixels. I have shown that before. This is a lot of bitmaps on top of each other, and every bitmap is the pixels of the original image on a radius, on circles, on different circles. So I'm drawing a lot of circles from smaller to bigger with the bitmap, and the outside pixels are transparent, and I'm just rotating a lot of different sprites with the center. And I might do the same with the radius. Anyway, so this is more complicated, but for this one, I load the original bitmap and I passed it to my packer. I procedurally generated unpacked data for a lot of cells. Now we want to do something. We want to manipulate it, and so it's kind of easier. I think I'll put it on the packed. I'm gonna make a packed wavy. I should stop talking too much and let's add for the first time wave. It's not very packed though, but it's gonna be a horizontal wave. It's not gonna be very excited. It's not gonna be a good wave. Let's see. Yeah, I should have an automated way for that. And all the other effects are using my automated, my function that take an unpacked bitmap and create the pack. Here I'm gonna do it manually. So now I'm going to... I will have to do some copy paste effect packed. Yeah. And maybe I might not be adding it here. Okay, it's gonna find everything. This make file. I have some old make files that you had to put manually, and I still don't know much about make files. I'm just using one that works. Now I have to decide. So yeah, this is very smart to see. Tools input. I'm gonna load the sprite engine. I don't need the cell packet. I have Opera Math. Will I? Do I need Opera Math for sine and cosine? Sometimes I don't include Opera Math, but probably it's included somewhere. I'm gonna have to do a bit of sine and cosine. And I'm gonna clean everything, I guess. And we will need an unpacked SPR. And I think I have sprite packed. Do I manually? I don't do CCB packed anymore because I have the sprite engine. It can do it for me. Ah no, I do CCB path. I don't think I... Ah, okay. I know. We're gonna do it differently. Yeah. Do I malloc something? My example. Because I might not be able to easily predict beforehand. The reality is I don't need the unpacked sprite. I just need to load the cell and get the bitmap. And I need to create from that bitmap another bitmap, which is the packed with some extras. No, I'm gonna do one test first. I'm gonna do a different kind of wave on the right side. Good idea. To see if we really have control over it. So Draculin. Let's just load it at the moment. I'm generating stuff. See, I have the function new packed sprite. We are not gonna use it. This is taking your unpacked bitmap. It is gonna call the generator and attach a different. And maybe it's gonna free that, or maybe not. Maybe not because I'm also passing it here. Yeah, that could be a problem. So if you have an unpacked bitmap, you might want to do it manually. Okay, first of all, effect packed. Is it packed to wave? We don't need the cell packer engine. We don't want the background. There is a bit of junk. You really need that. Wait a minute. We want to load. Hopefully the sprite engine. So we can do new sprite. You can do new pack sprite, new feedback sprite. You can do load sprites. We're gonna use load sprites. Do we even use it in any of this? Oh, we don't even. Oh my god, dude, does it work? How do we not? Ah, CPP, sorry. So we used it on packed radial. Effect parallax. And I've made it so easy that you just load it. And that's it. So I'm gonna start symbol. Draculin is and is it data Draculin 64 as I say. I'm confused for some reason. Because I'm using the Draculin. Okay, of course you have to use that. The other one would be doing some string, you know. It's I'm used from Windows. Yeah. No, don't do that because you know you have and you would have to do that. We are not in Windows. Okay, I'm very slow now. Okay, I have to go faster. Sorry, I'm just not good with that. Okay, well, I think I'm gonna be short with this video because what I want to do should be simple. I'm just cleaning stuff. Effect packed. Because I want to render something very, very similar. Yeah, okay, set sprite. Let's start with something very simple. Set sprite position and draw sprite. There is no input. Okay, fine. Static. We might need to move stuff. I have forgotten what I'm doing. Yeah, it's an int, obviously. That's very bad. Okay. For the time being, render the Draculin at something. Let's see if we even load that. If we can do the simplest thing. Oh my god. And then we can continue. We have packed wave. Ah? I don't want the memory display also. See, that's what I'm talking about. Core show mem. I'm trying to make, I haven't even started doing the actual effect. I just want to display a sprite. Nothing is displayed. Because I'm calling the effect packed wave run. Effect packed wave init. Oh my god. I'm already anxious that I'm taking much more time to do something than I should normally do for this video. And I need to display a sprite so that I can start working on the idea I have. And I'm not even there. Damn. Ah. Oh, SPR. What am I doing? You know, it's not just me. It's okay. Maybe it's, there are some YouTubers that I watch that are presenting code, and they are also like making mistakes, and they're also saying maybe when I'm streaming, but they also have some super chats and other stuff. I don't pay attention. And I'm much worse on that. Now I should have some error handling or something to tell me, hey, I couldn't find. Okay, I have something on the screen, finally. So I have the sprite. Maybe I'll put it 6464. I was putting .spr. There's no SPR. You know, unless I made my own form. I was putting Draculin. And then I noticed, okay, there is a Draculin, but it's not the one we want to. And then, oh, it's cell. I should have some error, like check error and print something. brain couldn't load this thing, and then I would instantly understand. I could be searching here for a long time. Oh, so we have the sprite. It's an unpacked sprite, 8 bits per pixel. So the thing I want to do now, working with the CCB. I'm really gonna do the same thing I did here. And I will have to copy paste. That will help me. For start, generate pack data. And I have a destination. I have assumed the size already. You can have a bigger size even if you're lazy. And you can prematurely. For example, I have an issue. You have some unpacked data and you want to pack. And you have to run the here it might be easier to pre-estimate. I need to allocate a new array, okay, so that I create packed data of the unpacked. And with the cell packer, I have a temporary. Have I copied the stuff? No. I'm going in tangents. I'm gonna copy this because I have the temp byte size. In each cell packet, I allocate something big. Maybe we need something bigger, but it depends. It's not ideal. And I have a temp line that I allocate something. So I need some big buffer so that I start packing the data. I don't know in advance how big the pack data will be until I finish. Because I'll go through every pixel and see pixels that repeat, and then I pack them and I increase the counter. So I would have to do some dummy, create some big dummy table, which if you delete the cell packet, it's gonna free those two. Have the temp line for every line. And I put some big enough size that I think, unless I wanted to pack some enormous, if I want in the future to make a test with an enormous big background that is even packed will go over those sizes, I would have to, it's a problem. Obviously I could have an initial packet that is like a buffer size or something with some default values, so that if someone wants to do something more, and that's a problem also if you don't have enough memory, so you have allocated already other things and there isn't even enough memory to do the temporary buffer that you will later free. And this is essential because when you are packing, you don't know prematurely what is the array to allocate. Now in this one where I was generating, let's see the bench test. Let's open that too. This is from the bench test where I was allocating the badly packed data and the packed data. And I had the pointer badly packed data here. And I knew this would be 2 plus sprite width plus 2. This might be for alignment. See, sprite width is 64, 68. I would need for every line 2 bytes for the number of words per line. And because I would have to align by 4 bytes, I would need 2 plus 2, 4. 68 bytes by sprite height. Now in the battery pack data, we need two times sprite width, because I would waste 2 bytes per pixel instead of 1, and 2 for the width, and plus 2 again for alignment by sprite height. So because I knew the bad way, the normal and the bad way I would pack things, I knew that this would be my size. And even now, because we are not gonna make a good packing, because this is not what we try to achieve, I can take that. I can literally take it, because the size will be this and something more later. And I could impact. Now the thing is, this is just a position. It's not the width height. We have loaded a cell, so we don't know. But probably we know it. We don't know the. I could just put 64. And if we wanted to be correct, can I see the sprite struct? The struct I have, the sprite struct. Is it also holding the width and the height? Sprite engine. It does hold the width and the height of the sprite, even if this information can be found inside cell. So it holds position and angle zoom so that we can alter these values and redraw PAL data. So technically this and this, the pointer to the palette if you have a palette data, these are the things that exist inside the cell, but for easiness I have stored them there too, and I have a point what for, so this value are gonna affect that. Anyway, I diverted, but the thing is I don't need to look at the cell to get the width and height. I can just get the width and height. Oh, okay. But you know, to simplify my life, this is not correct, by the way, because if I pass a different cell with a different size, this is gonna all be wrong. But I'm gonna assume that just to make it faster. It's just an experiment, man. And if the size would be bigger, we would take care of the packing different. There is not gonna be true packing. There is gonna be the lazy use of the pack literal and just give the. But again, we are trying to achieve something. The source is going to be. Am I doing the same thing here? Ah, but now I generated. Here I procedure generate. Here I loaded. We have to get Draculin. You gotta see here that we do store the data. There is also a palette, but we don't care about the palette. So technically, if my sprite engine, maybe my sprite engine loads the cell and it doesn't store those things there. I have to see it. Load sprite cell. And then it stores the data, get cell bitmap, cell palette. So those functions are the cell utils and they get the loaded cell, and they give you the bitmap. Cell help get cell. Yes, cell. It just gives you cell CCB source pointer and CCB plot pointer. I could do it manually, obviously. I could have done cell CCB source PTR or something. But since I stored there, I must have done this thing so that I have easier functions. I can directly get instead of going through the cell. Or that could be problematic if I alter the cell bitmap for some reason. The cell data is not gonna show there. Anyway, and I'm gonna give the Dracula impact. We happen to be 1 byte per pixel. Again, I just put this value to finish with this faster. And we need to do two things. I first have to try the one thing, which is easier. So step 2. I'm gonna do that. Yeah. And for now, this is the same. Also see the pack data. Every row, every scan line in the file, and offset of the first one. This is the length in words, which is either 8 or 10 bits. I have explained that in another video. But it's also -2. It's like the smallest value is 2 words. So a value of 0 in those bits will be 0 plus 2, 2 words. And 2 words is 8 pixels in the 1 byte per pixel 8 BPP. If you were 16 bits per pixel, it would be 4 pixels. So for some reason, because you cannot have a sprite, you can have a sprite smaller than 8 pixels, but the data has to be 8 bytes offset or 2 words. And that depends if the cell is 8-bit or 16-bit, the offset is this 10-bit integer. And if the cell is lower bits, it's gonna be 8-bit. And that really reflects, even here, on the cell, when you create the preambles, it's not here. You have some information about the width in, here's the number of rows, how many scan lines you have, and here is the W offset. Like, if I mean the first line, how many bytes is the second line? Is it 64 bytes later? 64 bytes is 16 words. You're gonna have the value 14 plus 2, 16. And even here, if your bitmap is 1 bit, 2 bit, 4 bit, 6 bit, it says G but it's 6 bit per pixel, then they use those bits in the preamble bytes. Else they use 10 bits if you are 8 bit or 16 bit. For some reason it's like that. So in that case it's 2 bytes. And this is why we are 2 bytes plus sprite width. Because it's 64, it goes 66. We add +2 to pad. Normally I shouldn't be doing. I should have a better way to calculate this. Like check for padding. I could even have done like that and allocate it here inside, but because I'm lazy now, or I want to do this experiment fast, we're gonna go for this. So we get that, and now this is straightforward because we know the bytes of every line. If we were doing real packing, it wouldn't be like that. One line would be packed better than the next line. Maybe you have one line with the same color repeated, and then the next line is a very noisy set of pixels. So the first line could be 10 bytes, the second line could be 50 bytes, and in every line, the first thing you have to do is give this value, the word width, -2. I give the word width -2, yeah, because if this is two words, it's gonna be 0. If I read this value and I add 2, I get the number of widths of words. The number of words I have to add from the beginning of the line data, and even this header. It also takes on account, it's the header and the data. To go to the next, okay. And it is 16-bit in our case. So I think this is gonna work the way it is now. Suppose we created this one. I might be a nice boy just for the lols. And I'm gonna be in the case you want to do experiment with something else. And damn, I'm going very slow with that, but okay. My mind is getting stuck all the time. It's easier if I wasn't doing the experiment. I was coding silently. And I forgot what I wanted to do. So I just created this, but I want to set it. Instead of Draculin, I will pass the sprite, the Draculin, SPR. And now, this SPR, here is the cell. We won't do data, we will do cell. I wonder if I have a function. Set sprite data. You know what? I noticed something. I have a set sprite palette. I have the alpha. It gets the cell of the sprite. It changes the pixie values, changes those flags. The Maria dotted display. Set palette. It's not even called set sprite palette. Let me see. It's not a good idea. I'm not using that. Never. It might be better to call it set sprite palette. So I have put this so that I could alter. Look, it changes the CCB plot pointer, but now this could be redundant because it's not hard to go cell palette. This could be helpers, and also the cell has the CCB width and CCB height. But maybe certain cells you might omit it for certain cells. So technically, if someone tries to retrieve it from the sprite, I would have to also set it here. And I'm thinking, you have to set it into the cell so that it affects the rendering, but you set it here. I think this is redundant. I'm not gonna alter it now. I could have designed it in a way that go get it from the cell. This is for convenience. Maybe I shouldn't. I could search. Whatever. It might be easier to do set sprite data. So the point of the palette is I have a sprite with a palette, and I might want to flip-flop palettes to change the palette on the fly. So I have a sprite and I change its palettes. If you have some Space Invader that is blown up and it turns into white, things like that. And maybe you want to alter. You have a series of bitmaps. You have the same sprite. Suppose you have a 64 by 64 and it's the definition on the inside the cell for the width, height, bits per pixel and so on, and you want to do some animated thing. So you could maybe I could make a more elaborate system of code with some sprite array with a lot of bitmaps in a series or something like that. There are all sorts of different ways to. Now I need to see the source pointer. Where is it? Why can I not find it? I use the get cell palette. For example, I'm using those helpers, and this is the CCB source PTR. I always forget. This might be a void pointer, but they always have this cell data. I have a set cell bitmap, which does the same thing. I should design that better. Okay, I'm going to now. Whatever. Void bitmap. Data something. Why not use the cell helpers? Of course, this for something so simple that you could just do that. It's a function calling a function. But okay, it's minimal now. Do I give the sprite cell? And is this a pointer? Yeah, okay. It's gonna be cast, but now you do have to do the But really, this thing is the same as that thing. I'm going to do myself a favor now and do it like that, as I'm doing the same here. I mean, okay, the cell helpers are good, but you're, and again, this one, I don't, okay, I'm not gonna spend time. Maybe I'm using this at places. Because I think I'm gonna waste time. I could remove those two, go at places and directly get the bulk and the data from there. Damn now. So now, if you give we created the function. You know, maybe I shouldn't worry that this video is so bad. I feel it. Because I'm only doing this to just randomly code and warm up a bit. We might approach the idea I wanted to try, and all the first version of the idea. I want to do the second version too. The second version will need to inject. The first version we need to alter values on the packed sprites. So why I cannot think. So we create the packed data and we are giving them. But the sprite is not, the cell is not packed. We alter the sprite data from its original to the packed one, which have some extra byte, and probably if I run it now, it's gonna be wrong. It's gonna display badly. Because it still thinks it's an unpacked. It's gonna have a twist there, the data. But since I know I have provided the packed version of that data, and it's not very packed, it's 100% as the raw data. I didn't do an actual packing, just to simplify the thing I want to try. And since I know it, all I need to see is the packed flag. I don't see it here, but in the sprite, new packed sprite, you only need to change the flags to order with CCB packed. I didn't use this one because this one you would pass the unpacked bitmap and it will create a pack. I could do that too. I will tell you why I'm doing it like this manually and without good packing. Maybe it would be possible to inject even in a very packed thing with a lot of packets inside. But let's see now. At least for the second idea. So I gave it the packed. All I need to do is sprite cell CCB flag, make it packed. Make the cell engine to know that this is a packed thing and it has to unpack the whatever. Let's see if it displays normally now. It has to display it normally. Yes, it displays it normally. And now it's time a bit for the idea. The way we pack that is very simple. The way we pack that, every line is 2 bytes, how many words for next line. One packet, 1 byte for type, number of pixels, followed by data. Okay, and there is another packet, which is the zeros, but that's handled by the padding also. One packet, end of line. So it's really 2 bytes, 1 byte, the data. They happen to be 64 because I did the simplest thing possible. So they are not even packed. They are not even, you don't have the advantage of size because of my little experiment. And then 0 line termination. And everything is like that. And this value 22, it could be 68, for example. It tells you have to go 68 there. And so if this is 1 byte, this will be 000, 3 bytes. And then it repeats, and it's the same with different data. All lines are like this. It's not very complicated. And again, normally, if you did the really good packing, it's not gonna be like this. It's not gonna be raw data. It's gonna be a lot of micro packets that say it's gonna be smaller stuff. It's gonna be this something and this wouldn't be 64. This would be 56, for example. And here it could be 16, and here it could be. But now we're doing the simple thing. And what am I gonna do? This byte here, in the beginning of every line that describes this package, it says, normally it says, pack literal, and then the number, sprite width -1. If I decide to do sprite height is 0 to 63, I'm gonna put, if I reduce the number, let me think, this might not work though. No, not this. This is the I don't know if I can do that. I have a different idea, but I thought it would be possible to do that. I don't know guys if this will work. The idea is that I could variate this every line to alter, even if the complete packed sprite is 64 pixels, I could cut pixels on the right this way. Of course, there are easier ways to cut pixels, but I want to do something from the left side. That is gonna be easier. The thing is, I'm following with the data. Okay, I'm following with the data, but the word width that it says anyway after 68 data. So I close that one. So I could have this in data, And this one, it's not one, it's 1 byte that has any value. And this is holding the number of, and it will say 64. Now, if I add 68, it will go at the beginning here. If I tell it, just take the 4 pixels, those 4 pixels, even if the data are higher, I can still point it to a bigger width and continue. Alright, so this might work in a way. So I'm altering the packed data so that I'm able to, let's see that. I'm able to control from all the data I give. Normally you can control it from the cell in other ways, but oh, whoa, okay, this is broken. I had an idea, but it wasn't a good one. And there's a reason. Oh yeah, the reason is I have to put a 0. You see that I put a 0 here. I can do this. I'm reading that anyways. And I can say, the reason is I'm altering the size to not be 64, but to be, do some pyramid thing. And again, if I tell it, okay, 68 bytes for the next, but this byte is telling you that only 4 pixels, and I have data, you have to fill those with 0, because the next, this packet will finish here and it's gonna go for the next packet, and the 0 generally means end of line, even if it has garbage here, if it has all zeros, it doesn't matter. So I could, if I want to do this janky, I'm doing janky experiments, by the way. This might not be very useful. It might be like, what can you do by manipulating manually the packed data? But I'm gonna do something that might be a bit more useful. And I'm gonna have to say now, if x, since we cut it with y, so we say y pixel. 0 pixel, but it's 1. 0 means 1. 1 to 64. If x greater than y, c equals 0. And I can do it, the opposite to wire it the memory all the time. So if x and y is 0, I think I'm doing it correctly. So I padded with 0 so that it finds the end of line. That's why you got garbage there. Now I'm doing things on my own at this point. It's, if you know, oh, it's still, well, it did diagonal stuff, but it still missed. Oh, I know why. It's not easy to do that. You have to alter the word width, man. No, you shouldn't have to alter the word width. This is gonna... I do wonder, because 4DO had issues. I think the second thing I'm going to do, which was the goal, will be easier. This is a bit harder. I'm trying to do hacks on the original packed sprite. No, it's the same. Again, this thing I do, you might not need it, because in the regular cell, even if you have packed data, you have the skip x, you have somewhere the number of, maybe you don't have it, maybe you have it, I forgot. Was it on the preambles? This is the number of rows. You don't have a number of pixels. I think you had number of pixels. The number of pixels, okay. Technically, what I try to do here, you don't need to do it the way I do, but there is another thing. I just hope this would work. Am I? At least now it goes to the next. Ah! That's it. You still have to update search plus plus. Because I only read from the source if x is greater than y, but you still want to go to the next data. This is, okay, this is a silly experiment. Finally. Now, what I want to do with this one, this is the easier one. I might want to I have put zeros. Okay, this is not easy to do like this. You don't even need to do it like this. I wanted to make it into a sine wave, but I would have to generate it all the time this way. Like all the time. Because you have to put the extra zeros. Also, you need to put 1 0, but then you have to replace it with the... I'm not gonna do that. I was testing something. There is something more I want to do. Okay, here is the idea I want to do. And that was the central. You have the word 68. I think this is gonna be raised a bit. Let me think. Why is it 68? Because it's 2 plus width plus 2 at the end. You need the 2. The 2 is the word. And it's 1 plus 1 even, I think. Is it? The width is 64. I need to remember, I think the word definitely, this value that was 68 bytes, or 68, it was really, this is those 2 bytes. And then you need 1 byte to say the command of the, that you will read the next 64 pixel. That byte has the command and the number of pixels, and then it follows by 64 bytes, and you need to pad it with 1 byte, so this will get 68. It has to be word aligned. And now I want to do a strange manipulation. I want to add let's see. That's gonna be the where is the data? I just see now that the transparent doesn't need pixel data. It's 1 byte, doesn't need an extra byte. Oh, that might be even perfect, and we can use this. We don't need to go to 68, 72. No 72. Because we can make a new one that is The 2. 2 is this one. You need the 1 and the 64. This is the bitmap data, raw data, no serious packing. It's a waste if you wanted to pack the way I'm doing it now. But I'm gonna put this here. And this is gonna be packed transparent. Packed transparent, followed by packed literal, followed by 64 bytes. This is a byte, this is a byte, 64, 68. So we don't even need to change. We are going to inject. We're going to do something really cool. And we could even do it here. Forget the previous goes from the right. You don't need to do the from the right. We will do it. Oh, I could do it from with a different way. So I'm not gonna use this one. I'm gonna. Oh, you need. That's the 0. You might need the end of line. This is not okay. This is not clear. They say sometimes you need it, you don't need it. Because if you have this that says then if I need this becomes 72. And I really have to put 40 bytes. And it would be 72. And plus 2 or something, minus 2. Minus 2. I think because you need that. Previously this packet was a 0 and it worked because it gave the end. It's not obvious if I need to put that always. If the size, if the width, is the cell engine reading this? And now this is how to go to the next line. I think it needs the stop. It needs the stop. And I think we have seen it. We have seen that when I did this, why? I think we have seen it. Even if it's a 64, you would see some lines go way over. I ran this one, okay. It would just read data till it finds something with 0. They went way over. It was reading the wrong data and it wouldn't find the... You can find another value that says, okay, repeat some data again. And interestingly enough, you would find other data that it thought that these data were packets. That was telling it some of these packets is the same color. It thought depending on the bits, it would read pixel data and it would try to comprehend them as that byte that tells you, should I repeat pixel? Should I have transparent pixel? Is it an end of line, and it would get, oh, you have to repeat the 25 pixel of the next value, and it would repeat this, and it would go much higher than 64. So that, and it also, this might have stolen data from below, but when it finished, from the beginning it added 68, and that's why this one is correct. You could manipulate packed data in weird ways and do all kinds of weird stuff if you really says it. Because I could, I could repeat some data. I have an idea. I'm not sure how this would work. You could tile repeat this. Maybe not. You could do some weird stuff if you think about it. Because you can, if it's interpreting the data wrong, it's doing all kinds of, it's rendering extra stuff but using the existing data. Anyway, let's go back. I just have ideas, that's it. The thing is, the thing we want to do, we have to increase this, and we have, because we have to increase it, we have to change it. We have to say, you know what? This is not 2 plus. And this is like 1 plus 1 plus sprite width, if you think. So 2 bytes for the width, 1 byte for the transparent pack pixels, 1 byte for the literal and the following. So 2 plus 1, this is already 68 plus. We need to have 4 bytes more for the end of line. We're wasting a bit there. We will do some crazy shit there too. If we want that. And the word width now it's literally that. And remember, normally a packed line is variable, but because we are packing it in a bad way, in an unoptimized way, just to do the other trick I want to do, it might help to find packed line minus divided by 4 or with minus 2, because a value of word width 0 means 2 words already. There is this limitation, the smallest width in a cell, even in a regular cell, not packed, it has to be. That has to do something with the two cell engines are working in parallel, something with the data pipeline or something like that. I read somewhere. Of course, you know, you can do a sprite that is less than 8 pixels, but the pixel, the 8 byte data per line, but the data will be padded. You will be using, you can use 1 byte and the next could be junk, and just tell the cell data to skip, to not render. It's not like you cannot do tiny sprites. So now this is closer. We've wrote the hidden for that the whole line. Now here we save the literal, but we want to save, and here's the thing. We want to save the pack. Now is it transparent or they named it in a different way? And initially it's gonna be 0. It's 1 pixel. 1 transparent. Now this is gonna push the sprite a bit on the... It's gonna be 1 pixel on the left with a transparent pixel. So I want to inject this command, which is an extra byte. So this, then the pack literal, and this is together. And now I'm going to have to do this 4 times. Yeah, just to pad it. Let's see how this one works. And there's a lot. This is gonna display the same sprite normally. Okay, that's good, but one scan line here is gonna be an extra transparent pixel. So if I didn't have this, I injected that thing, and now damn, my USB disconnected. And now if the number of pixels on the left for the transparent, so it's like I added a layer of transparent pixel on every line. If I put, let's put Y, the Y, so vertically we increase it. Whee, it works. And now I want to do, I don't want to call this one every time. Here is the thing. Now there are 2 things I can do. I could save an array of the addresses, or I could traverse the thing. I'll put that 0 for the beginning. You don't even need to orb with 0. Let's see if we can do it here. On my left side, something. You see, that was basically the idea, but I think I can do it even with yeah. There is some peculiarity though. We'll see. So it would be better to set sprite data is gonna set this dropping data even on the SPR data. So we can read the actual data. We're gonna be injecting just those bytes. We don't have to regenerate the whole thing. And that's the idea. There is no destination now. But look how we are gonna do it. We are gonna read now the word width so that we know I might even call it let's read okay, I would have to cast. Yeah, I've done it below the source in uint16 and read the damn thing. However, why am I even typing the byte width? Because we have byte. It's now this value. If it's a 0, it means 2. It is this plus 2. Because that's how the cell is doing. The smallest possible width is 2 words. So a value of 0, you have to add 2. This is how it encodes it. And I'll have to... it's worse, multiply by 4. And like here, dst plus equals to. It is better. We're in a byte. It is better. So you know what? Source plus 2. So after the word size, we have the pack transparent. And we could read it and alter the lower. But we can just do it again, it doesn't matter. This is a constant value. So we are finding that single byte, and every frame we will be updating something with a value. It has to be 0 to 63 offset. And we have to say, okay, constant offset equals something. Let's do something. Okay, wave left side in ticks t. Let's try something simple. Please c test up c plus t and 63. And that's the idea, which hopefully will work. So without recreating the whole packed sprite, we can inject size values in this padding from the left of transparent pixels. We have the render. We can get the ticks from there. Call it whatever. Let's see, maybe this is very fast. And I basically finished what I'm just gonna do a wave. I'm gonna try some things. Oh no, it only happens for the first line. Hold it. Yeah, because I forgot something. This one I do it +2 and not increasing because now we got the bandwidth here. And we can say, you know what, search plus equals, move to the beginning of the next line where we will find the header and so on. Put that here. Yeah. And I want to make a nice wave. How do we make a nice wave? What kind of signs do we have? I don't even remember. I use the sine F16 thing. Let's see what values does that take. Okay, it's 16. These are the fixed point ones. Okay, why? Now this is gonna give a 16-bit (1616). And sine is gonna be from -1 to 1, so it's gonna be from 1 byte here, plus minus. And 16. So if I do it, I made 9 bits. Maybe this is a safe plus minus 63 plus minus 64 plus minus 32. You know, I'm gonna do that and add me another one, make it more funky. 13 maybe. And center me on 32. This is 16 plus minus 24. Maybe that will do. And put a different I'm adding this T. That's the smaller wave. I don't know if you need this C. Why? I'm gonna have to experiment with that. Now if we get it wrong, okay, it's just a bit slow. Oh, I was expecting. Oh, I see. Do I need Y? Maybe I need Y. Is that too much? Also, it seems to have been flickering even. Oh yeah. Okay, a bit too fast. So that was the idea I was trying, and I ran this one, okay, whatever. I usually prefer the 40 to instantly get the results and not wave. Ha, okay, maybe too much. Is it? Oh my god. Yeah. I need the wave thing. 18, 19. Oh, nice. And that's the idea that I wanted to say that you can inject. Can I maybe? Let's see if I didn't kill it much. Still goes. Yeah, that's what I want. So we can have a sprite, and let's try that now. I'm just going and searching the bytes. Now the alternative would have to have some int pointer something. Inject map sprite height pointer just and you would, you know, where is it? Okay, the transparent is here, pack transparent. We could maybe put inject my equals dst, maybe. U byte pointer, and I will literally, before, at the place where I have the pack transparent, I would store the addresses in the creation so that later here I would go only on these byte addresses, only 64 bytes, and alter the values for the. This is like a left padding transparent initially with one transparent pixel, that I alter the number of pixels to do a wavy sprite. That would be another way I would do it, but now I do it by hooking reading the word width, knowing where the beginning of the next line starts. And I know 2 bytes after that starts the back transparent byte, where I alter the offset with some sine wave. This has to be inside the... Now, for safety, I could also do a end 63 to keep it from 0 to 63. As for saying, but I have thought of some signs that even when added, they must be inside the ranges I want. Isn't that wonderful? And let's see, now we can see one more thing. And I might not do more stuff. Oh, wait. Okay. I thought I lost the recording for a moment. I freaked out that I was recording for an hour and I'm gonna finish this today. It's not going very well for what I wanted to do, but it's okay. I achieved the thing I wanted to do, but there is more. This is a cheap way. Okay, I want to see, and I want you to see what happens if we zoom this sprite. Because I'm waving the bitmap lines, and you will see, I know what will happen. It's not gonna happen what you initially could be thinking. So I'm gonna use this set sprite position. We can do the rotate too. So render draw sprite, set sprite, okay. Just pass me the T. First of all, I can do the same thing. Just put some values there. Put in the middle of the screen plus something with T. I don't know. Let's try some values for the position first. And the zoom will be, I have the value 256 personally for. I have my own values. 256 means regular scale. 512 is twice. It's like it's fixed point, but 8 bits for fractional parts. Let's see if the movement is correct. Didn't I? Oh, shit. Yeah. Also, is it too much? Yeah, the shifts are working on the outside. You have to put the parentheses. It's weird, but... Oh, that's very fast. Yeah, I don't even know some good values. Let's just move it around. Oh, I'm doing experimental stuff now. Also, you need to put minus. It's half sprite with. Okay, this is not gonna work with the zoom though. I don't center it. Anyway, I should finish this. We need to do the zoom. So you could have a wavy sprite. And let me do the zoom. 512. And do you see that it's pixely? I might even stop that. I was just moving it. I might just put it on the center. Let's put 1024. Why? Because one would think, but probably it's not. I didn't even think that. Oh, you're gonna zoom and you're gonna have a smooth wave. You're gonna have a pixely wave. Because we are offset with a wave on the sprite data. Obviously, not on the screen. So you're going to have some funny stuff. And maybe I can try the finally zoom rotates. And I'm gonna put T, just T. I'm gonna rotate it. Put something. We'll see. I don't know. I think my sprite engine, I might have a function that rotates at the center. Because now it's drawn to in the corner. T 32 by T. This is in fixed point again. You will see how weird it will look. Look that vertically it's sharp. But the waving is inside the bitmap data. So you don't get a smooth pixel wave, you get a texel wave, let's say. You get an offset of the texels. I have double scale resolution even. But you can have a wavy sprite. It is weird. Now I haven't centered it. I don't have a function to do it on the sprite center. It might be doing it on the corner. And this is an experiment. Here are my thoughts. Obviously, I'm taking a sprite with raw data, and I pack the main data with literal. I don't do the complex searching to find. I need to find a good sprite for that. So I'm not doing the actual packing. The purpose of the packing was to reduce the size. I'm wasting things, but I'm adding an extra package with transparent in the left side so that I do some sprite wave. That normally if you wanted to do sprite wave horizontally, you would have to have now sprite or CCB many line sprites. You would have to split a bitmap in several cells and move the CCB pos X and pos Y if you rotate. You have to rotate them individually and render several sprites. That would be a way to do it. Maybe my way is not the best. Maybe my way is very cumbersome and you end up not. Also, you could pack the sprite, but you have to do a bit more work. I could have used. This is something I'll do in the future. New packed sprite, okay. Which would take the unpacked. It's gonna call my packed data from unpacked. Gonna call my cell packer. For which I have to init I will have first to call init cell packer engine and the init cell packer engine, and I will do the actual work to search and find it. Are the pixels repeating? Is it a packed, a literal, transparent, all, and so on? So I would do a whole searching and will create more complicated packed lines, and the packed line wouldn't just have okay a literal with all the pixel for you have a lot of packets, but I think you could still be able to get the word width and go and walk and inject the pack transparent with the offset. But you might have to up the, as I said, when we added this, we changed the word width. You have to do a lot of searching, and some lines might need to be packed with a 0. You know, that's the thing. So technically, I could expand my engine to get. So now I have create pack data from one pack. I could have a create a wavy pack data from packed, which will take the packed and walk line by line using the word width in the beginning it has to inject the transparent, it has to inject extra and move all the data, or even create a new bitmap. It's a bit more complicated. So I could do something that you could use it for any packed sprite, even sprites that are very well packed, very well packed. Here I'm doing in some sprite that is the packing is wasted. Okay, it's 100% +1. It's worse than the unpacked. It's worse than the unpacked, but I'm injecting this. I can do some wavy sprite like that. So, and I'm thinking you could do other. I'm going to do it on the right side. You could do things on the right side. You could do wavy effects, single color wavy effect like the Amiga demos. But that's not the only way you could do it. Because you could do it with regular cell renderer. You don't need to do it. But this one, you could make some sprites that you can render like normal sprites and make some of them wave, okay. Of course the wave is only horizontal. It cannot be vertical with this method. For vertical you have to split a sprite on vertical corners and you wouldn't be able to do the horizontal. For horizontal and vertical distortion you have to split a bitmap in a lot of smaller quads, but they wouldn't have to be pixel per pixel. This is pixel per pixel. However, as you see, if you zoom it, obviously the sign happens on it offsets the pixel data. It doesn't happen in the image. So if I put something like that, if it's going to be inside the screen, but see, it's nice. You see, the text cells are diagonal. It's just that the bitmap is offsetted. You could do all sorts of things if you wanted. And maybe for last one I can do some silly thing. Yeah, let's try some silly thing. I don't know what I'll get. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Silly means silly. Woo. So you do have an independently horizontal wave sprite where you sine wave the packed data, and that's why I wanted the pack, because imagine if this was unpacked, how would you offset per line? You would have to move the whole data on the right side, while here you have the packed value that it says the next transparent pixel, that number is gonna be transparent pixel. You alter the per line, you alter one packet from the packed data per line, and it's 1 byte, and you can offset the whole thing. And that works on the data. It's independent with the rendering and mean, independent with the rotation I do on the cell vectors. That's why when you zoom in, you get a pixel, you don't get a smooth wave anymore. But that's kind of funny. And that's the shit I wanted to try. Could I? Is this the correct one? I'm gonna fix this later. I should be able to sender a sprite. And those numbers are dependent on the zooming. I have to find the sender. Anyway, guys, that's it. I guess no matter how bad the video turned, I mean, I wanted to do something in smaller duration, but as always. But then the point was to just start working on some 3D stuff again. Also, I have to put in the program to start working with Bizarro engine and all these silly examples. See you next time. Bye.